Hello, and thanks for joining me for another exciting episode of Lights Out, your virtual campfire. I'm your hostess with the mostest ghosties, Sylvia Shults. In this episode, we're going halfway around the world to go lights out. As I travel, I often meet people with fascinating stories to share. A while ago, I was in Dubuque, Iowa for a paranormal conference, and I stayed at a hotel in town. Hey, it had a pool and free breakfast, two of my highest priorities when choosing a hotel. I realized when I got to the hotel that I'd forgotten the charger for my cell phone, so I wandered down to the desk. I had a really wonderful time chatting with the two desk clerks on duty, Jay Patel and Sam Skinder. Being hotel desk clerks, they asked what I was in town for. When I said, for a paranormal convention, well, that got their attention. Jay, being Indian, told me a wonderful tale about a haunted fort in India. This place, Bhanghar Fort, is considered one of the most haunted places not only in India, but in all of Asia. Tell me more, I begged. The fort is so ridiculously haunted that the Archaeological Survey of India has put up warning signs in two languages, English and Punjab, that basically say that if you're in the fort after dark, you're on your own. The authorities take no responsibility for what happens to your happy ass if you go traipsing around this incredibly haunted place at night. And terrible things happen at night. A group of tourists once bribed the groundskeeper to let them in after night fell. The groundskeeper went ahead and did so, even as he warned them that it was not only illegal, it was just plain stupid. The groundskeeper himself never went into the ruined town after dark. The group happily wandered around the ruins, poking around, laughing and joking. Then some folks peeked through a window and saw a boy sitting alone in one of the rooms of the fort. Kind of creepy. And then they realized that the room had no door, and the window was securely covered by a finely woven grill to make sure that no one could get in or out. Another visitor entered the fort after dark with a couple of friends. This guy fell into a deep well located in the middle of the fort. His friends managed to pull him out, but as they were rushing him to the hospital, they got into a car accident, and all three were crushed to death. A group of 20 or so college students decided to try their luck in Banghar's ruins after dark. They, too, came in laughing and horsing around, until a big dark mass blocked their way. Terrified, the students turned to run, and ran smack into a stone wall that had suddenly materialized behind them. The dark mass, and suddenly disappearing and reappearing stone walls, chased the students, herding them around the fort until they were completely disoriented and gibbering with terror. Only then did the black shadow relent and let the students go. Jay told me that Gaurav Tiwari, a reporter for the #1 news channel in India, went to Bhangar after dark to do an expose on the place. The reporter's mutilated body was found the next morning. The police declared that Tiwari's death appeared to be a suicide. But local legend agrees. The man was frightened to death. Local stories also tell of strange noises emanating from the ruins at night. Women screaming and crying, strange music, as well as unexplainable dancing lights. There is even mention of visitors smelling an intoxicating perfume wafting from the ruins. There are two stories of the haunting of Bhangar Fort. The first is that when Emperor Madho Singh built the city, he first had to get permission from Guru Balu Nath, a holy man who already made his home there. The guru gave his approval on the condition that the shadow of the palace must never fall on his hut. When construction was finished, though, the palace had been built to such a height that its shadow did indeed fall on the guru's house. Outraged, the hermit cursed the entire town. The other story is a romantic tale of doomed desire. The Princess Ratnavati was a young lady of surpassing beauty. When she turned 18, suitors from all over India competed for her hand in marriage. One of these was a black magician, a sorcerer named Sylvia. He knew the beautiful, virtuous princess would never accept him as a husband, so he decided to turn to black magic to entice her to fall in love with him. Sylvia happened to see Princess Ratnavati's maid in the market buying perfumed oil for her mistress. The sorcerer enchanted the oil, imbuing it with dark magic. He hoped that as soon as the princess smoothed the oil onto her golden skin, she would surrender herself to him. But Ratnavati did not fall for the trick. She poured the oil out onto the ground, where it gathered itself into a boulder, which rolled over the evil sorcerer and crushed him. With his dying breath, Sylvia cursed the town, dooming all its inhabitants to a living death within its walls. Built in 1631, the fort and town of Bhangarh are located on the edge of the Sariska Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan, between Jaipur and Delhi. If you go, bring plenty of water. It is in a desert region. And you might want to bring food along, too. Oh, and a flashlight, because there is no electricity in the region. I'd like to give a huge thank you to Jay Patel and Sam Skinder of Timmerman's Hotel and Resort for pointing me towards this story so I could share it with you. Next time on Lights Out, I'll take you with me to Plymouth, Massachusetts, and we'll tag along on a dead-of-night lantern tour. Join me next time when we go Lights Out.
Fire, burning cauldron.